Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going through all of the video game releases coming out of Japan for the month of October. We're already halfway through the month and plenty of games have already come out, but I didn't think about making this video until now. We'll still be including games that have already come out for all the completionists out there, so maybe you'll see something that you missed but you're still interested in. Now obviously there'll be gaps in my awareness of what's releasing, but I think I've done a pretty comprehensive job of getting larger and smaller titles launching this month. I want to go in release order, but first, I want to highlight two games that grab my attention, and I don't have faith you'll wait until later in the video to see them, but feel free to use timestamps to skip around if you're uninterested. So, the first game is MotionRec. MotionRec is a recording puzzle action game where you progress through stages by recording and playing back your own movements. Puzzle games aren't usually my bag, but the art style of this game really stood out when I was looking around at what was coming up. The black and white pixel art, the few splashes of color when using the powers, and the cute design of the main character all really spoke to me. It reminds me of those games you'd play on the TI-84 calculators back in school. There's a demo out right now on Steam if you want to try it out yourself. It might be tied to Next Fest, which ends October 20th, but I'm not super sure about that. But still, if you're interested in it, you might want to hurry up. The game is being published by Playism and developed by Handsome. Looks to be their first full release, at least on Steam. The game is releasing on October 27th for PC, so keep an eye out if you're interested. The second and last standout game was Stray Children, self-published by Onion Games. Stray Children comes from the creators of beloved cult classic video game Moon. They recently re-released that game as Moon Remix RPG Adventure, which, the original, was an inspiration for Toby Fox creating Undertale. This new game, Stray Children, is described as a bittersweet fairy tale adventure that will change the way you think about children and adults. That's kind of weird. Another game with a distinct art direction, the game has a very dreamlike feeling to it. The gameplay also looks varied and unique, and hopefully it's got a good sense of humor. I'm not one of those Undertale enjoyers, or really that type of RPG in general. Maybe Earthbound is another example, but that's more just because I haven't given them a real shot, rather than anything about them not jiving with me. No demo for this one, but it releases for Switch and PC on October 30th. Now I'll be getting into the bigger games in release order. We'll start with some games that have already released, then go into some games that we have to look forward to for the rest of October. Nintendo released yet another version of Super Mario Galaxy, and have finally re-released Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Switch. Switch 2 players will get to enjoy the games at 4K 60 FPS, with the free update from Switch 1 to Switch 2, but no upgrade path is available for those who got the All-Stars version of Mario Galaxy some years back, so pull out your wallets, Nintendo fans. These games are highly regarded, so regardless of the pricing structure, it's great that they're more available for those who have yet to try them, and available for those who want to revisit some old favorites. They released on October 2nd exclusively for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. Digimon Time Stranger launched October 3rd for PS5, PC, and Xbox Series. The turn-based adventure RPG is a new entry in the Digimon story series that fans have been waiting for since 2017's Hacker's Memory. Mediavision and Bandai Namco have seemingly found great success, at least publicly, on PC, concurrent numbers reaching heights of 80,000 and consistently placing high on Steam top seller charts. Relatively positive critic reviews and very positive user reviews. It looks like Digimon Story Time Stranger was a big success for those involved in making it and those who want to enjoy it. Nippon Ichi Software, or NIS, have released yet another version of Disgaea 7. The tactical role-playing game, originally released back in 2023, Disgaea 7 Complete was released for PS4, PS5, and Switch in 2024, exclusively in Japan, and now, in 2025, we are getting a Western release of that version, but exclusive to Switch 2, I think. There may be a difference between those two complete versions of Disgaea 7 besides the platforms it's releasing on. If you are a Disgaea head, I don't know what you call yourselves, let me know in the comments below. I do own the first game and want to check out the series myself, so I'd probably start there. But for those of you who are all caught up, this new version released on October 10th. Dreams of Another, self-published from independent developer Q Games, released on October 10th, with the strange but interesting premise of shooting to create rather than shooting to destroy. Q Games has a history on PlayStation 3 specifically, releasing these pixel junk games, so if you were around back then and a fan of those, this might speak to you. It is worth noting that critical reception of this wasn't the strongest, and the game appears to have sold so poorly that there isn't even a review consensus on Steam yet. The game has an all-time peak of 8 players on Steam. The PS5 version is faring a bit better with 36 reviews, above 4 out of 5 stars. Maybe that PlayStation lineage from the PS3 generation helped out a bit there. The game was prominently showed in a state of play as well. Still though, I think Dreams of Another shows us just how hard a game can bomb, even with the marketing push from one of the major platforms in Sony. Ys vs. Trails in the Sky Alternative Saga released on October 10th for PS4, PS5, PC, and Switch from Falcom and Refint Games, which is a new publisher / localization team. This is a crossover fighting game from two recent favorites of mine, Ys and Trails. I would be all over a crossover game between the two, but alas, fighting games just don't really interest me very much. There's a single player campaign included, and that's tempting. I think once I finish Sky 3rd and get around to Ys 7, I'll probably buy and check this one out just for the sheer novelty. The game is apparently in the Ys 7 engine, so seems like it kind of makes sense to jump in there. If you too are Falcom pilled, it looks like Steam reviews are positive, and the port / translation work is great. A new entry in the Pokemon Legends spin-off series is launching October 16th from Nintendo and Game Freak, obviously exclusive to the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 platforms. I've all but fallen off the Pokemon train long before Pokemon Legends Arceus arrived back in 2022. Now, Xillia is here to tempt me once again, but after trying to get back into the franchise with Scarlet, and more recently another attempt at capturing my past love for the series with Brilliant Diamond, both just couldn't hold my attention to see them through. Xillia brings fans back to the Kalos region from X and Y. It got a strong critical reception, hovering around an 80 on OpenCritic. It will undoubtedly sell millions upon millions, and everyone who's going to buy this game already knows they're in. The rest of us will just sit back, let you all have your fun, so enjoy. A fourth entry in the 3D Ninja Gaiden series is arriving from Platinum Games, Team Ninja, and Koei Tecmo. Coming over 13 years after Ninja Gaiden 3, Team Ninja finally found it within themselves to bring Ryu, Hayabusa, and the gang back into the forefront. This whole year, 2025, has been the year of the ninja. From Assassin's Creed Shadows, Shinobi, Ghost of Yotei, but no other franchise has seen the surge in relevance and support that Ninja Gaiden has. Starting with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black early in the year, into Ninja Gaiden Ragebound in the summer, and now closing with Ninja Gaiden 4 here in the fall. I hope Koei Tecmo & Co. land the plane, because for me at least, they're 2 for 2 so far when it comes to Ninja Gaiden. And while Team Ninja is involved in Ninja Gaiden 4's development, the project being led by a neutered Platinum Games does have me wary about getting too excited before seeing the initial reception. The game looks great in trailers, and we won't have to wait too long to see what comes of this co-development effort when Ninja Gaiden 4 releases October 21st on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Double Dragon Revive is a reboot of the Double Dragon franchise with a reimagining of the first two games in this one new entry. The game is being developed by Yuke's, whose claim to fame is developing the WWE games through 2K19 before being dropped by Take-Two and replaced. I haven't played a Double Dragon game, and despite this game being specifically targeted at a modern audience, it looks to be doing the worst of both, alienating both older fans of the franchise and putting off new fans at the same time. The art style is just kinda ugly, frankly. I am interested in hearing about how it plays though, considering that Arc System Works is the publisher, and they have a good sense of gameplay feel. We'll find out how this one lands when Double Dragon Revive launches October 23rd on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC. Another dormant series continuation, that's 3 now, with Once Upon a Katamari from Bandai Namco and developer Ren Game. The last mainline console Katamari game was back on Vita in 2011. I don't know much about this series, except that it's born from a cult classic, the original Katamari Damacy. I think you roll around picking up things, and this is just more of that, with some more stages. The art direction is wonderfully realized, the music is strangely infectious, and the stage design looks really fun. There's definitely a joyous energy here that is enticing me. The game releases on October 24th, for those who feel the same, for PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. This is a strange one. It is neither developed or published by a Japanese company, but it is being licensed by Sega. House of the Dead is a legendary Sega franchise that began back in the arcades in the late 1990s. Credited along with Resident Evil for popularizing zombie video games and repopularizing zombie media period. First House of the Dead was remade by Megapixel and published by Forever Entertainment. The duo is back again to do the second game here on October 24th for all platforms, just in time for Halloween. You should be slightly afraid though. The first remake has been met with a mixed reception. It seems that foregoing the arcade experience, light gun in hand, is maybe too tall a task for recapturing the magic that the originals had. Another remake lands in October. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 Remake comes from ArtDink and Square Enix. After delivering the immaculate Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remake, ArtDink and Square are back to deliver more peak. They have expanded Dragon Quest 1 and 2 with new scenarios and dungeons, and littered the game with quality of life improvements meant to streamline the experience. Surely, there'll be settings to remove those changes, so fret not. Square Enix seems to be on a quest to remake all of the Dragon Quest games. With 7 reimagined, dated for early next year, I can't complain. I've been made a Dragon Quest believer after Dragon Quest 3. I did play 11 back in the day on Switch when that came out. It was really Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D for me. Kind of showed me the potential of the series. Square Enix still needs to get Dragon Quest 12 out the door for the fans who want something new, but also they should take their time, make it good, and let it cook. Until then, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake releases on October 30th for all platforms. Virtua Fighter 5 REVO is coming to consoles, PS5, and Xbox Series on October 30th. This remaster of Virtua Fighter 5 from RGG and Sega was released earlier in the year on PC, and now some months later they are putting out the console version. The game didn't make much noise when it first released on PC, got some mixed reviews at first, but now it seems to have settled at mostly positive. Sega is hoping to revive the Virtua Fighter franchise before the new game, also in development by RGG, releases within the next couple of years. Finally, on October 31st, coming to all platforms, Tales of Xillia Remastered, the second of the newly initiated Tales Remaster project, which aims to bring most, if not all, games in the Tales of series to modern platforms. Last release was January this year with Grace's F, and now Xillia alone returns. Some have questioned the order of release, but I think along with Dragon Quest, leads of the two remaster/remake projects have come to the conclusion that release order of the original games is less important, and instead, whatever project they can get out of the door first and ready is the more efficient path forward. It should be noted that Xillia 2 is not included in this product. That will presumably be sold separately at a later date. Tosei handled Grace's F earlier this year, but it seems that Bandai has tapped Doki Doki Grooveworks with this remaster. That same development team is the studio behind the upcoming Octopath Traveler 0. That is quite literally everything. Thank God I didn't find more because that was a lot. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video, and for more coverage of Japanese games and the Japanese games industry, please subscribe. Goodbye.